Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today I'm going to work on a Daiwa 27H. It was sent in to me by Joe. There's something going on. It probably doesn't have any drag washers in it or something. I'm just uncertain what the issue is here, but it's clear that when you tighten this all the way down, there's no spacing here. So that's the way to tell either your washers are worn or in this case they might be missing. But this is a Daiwa 27H Sealine. It's one of the earlier reels. It's probably been around 30 years now. It's not a new reel, but it sure looks new. And Joe was kind enough to send this one in to me. Joe tried dropping it off and I wasn't around, unfortunately, and so we had to mail it in. That's okay, and we will certainly try and take care of it for him. So I like to remove the side plates to start this, the external pieces and parts. I'm just working on two. I'm going to leave one of them in there and take the handle off. And while I do this, I want to thank our first responders and essential personnel. That includes our law enforcement, fire, first aid, EMT, all of the folks that are working to keep us safe during this pandemic, our hospital workers, our vaccine administrators, everybody who's got a role to play in trying to help us end this pandemic. Appreciate everything you do. I'm an admirer of everything that you do, and I want to thank you for that. This is a 10mm nut that comes off in a counterclockwise direction. Underneath that we have a little C-clip here. Sometimes you can push these out with your fingers. Yep, I can do that there. Just be careful with that. So that's an easy one to lose. And I'm putting all my pieces and parts in a parts tray. This is the bottom of something. I think it's a bleach container or something. I don't know. Found it somewhere. We got two in here. Looks like we have two C-clips in here. No, we have a washer. Okay. So there's a little washer hiding under that C-clip. This is a good time to tell you take pictures so that you know the orientation of these things, right? That little washer is an easy one to overlook and try and figure out where in the world it came from. That C-clip and washer holds that whole gear sleeve onto your bridge. So if you're missing that, your bridge is going to move in and out. So make sure that you know where that is. All right, we're going to remove the star adjuster here. I'm just kind of curious what's going on underneath here. Okay, well we still have our little adjuster, so something's wrong inside. All right, I left that one in there just so I could take those other parts off. Let's take this piece off then. And we'll show you the insides of a 27H if you happen to have one of these. If you're thinking about buying one of these, and you can find them, like I mentioned, they're 20 or 30 years old now. But if you can find one of these, it's an excellent, excellent reel. All right, still not sure quite what's going on here. This is, you're going to find that this is the same setup here as the, well, I think we just found out what's going on here. This is the same setup as the 50H, kind of a miniature, right? So this washer doesn't belong here. That's a bearing. This washer doesn't belong here, so I'm surprised that this spool was even working. These belong on the other side of the railroad track, if you will, and that's obviously why this thing is not working the way it should. All right, Joe took care to lube up the back here. I'm just checking all the teeth in this now. That's a plastic gear. You want to make sure all the teeth are there to make this work. And you want to grab a little bit of oil for that bearing in the back there. I'm using Real X, which is an aftermarket synthetic fishing reel oil. I'm going to take these two tension washers, put those over to the side for a moment. Now we can take off our bridge assembly just to make sure that we get it right. There's a screw here that's there's a spring here that's going to hold the anti-reverse dog. Save yourself the trouble and take that spring off ahead of time. I just use little pliers to do that. You can leave it on that side of the bridge. Just know that it's there. I'm going to pull this side out here. There's 4 bridge screws that hold this in place now, so we'll take those out. I believe all of these are the same. On the Penn reels, I believe they're different. On the Daiwa reels, I think they're all partially threaded. We're going to find out. It's been a little bit of time since I've worked on one of these. Well, I was wrong again. The bottom screws are fully threaded like the pen reels. So note the difference. Well, it's a short one. Okay, that's why. Note the difference in the size and the length of the screws and in the screw types, just so when you go to reinstall, you'll know where the difference is. So 3 of those are partially threaded, and then we have a short screw on this side. That short screw is actually holding a little ferrule that's holding that anti-reverse. All right, let's push this through. We've got a spring that belongs to the yoke assembly. It's going to belong in the cavity over here. This is all cleaned. I don't need to clean this. I think Joe did a nice job cleaning it up there. And we have our bridge assembly, which just slid off there because we pulled that little C-clip. We have our yoke. Here's our anti-reverse dog assembly. Is that burning again? We'll go give that a drink of oil. I'll come back in here and just take a look, make sure that everything's okay inside. I think we're okay with these. So we have a series of 3 drag washers. They seem to be good. These are the leather washers, but they're fine. I'm just going to take a look and see if these match up with another washer that I have. I'm going to pause the video here and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went to my my parts tray and I noticed that my Pen 155 washers line up with these, and I'm going to substitute those because the old leather washers appear to be pretty well worn. Again, it looks like Joe had all of this apart. I'm not certain underneath there, so I'm just going to wipe this down. We'll do that again. It does look like there's a little bit of debris that kind of got trapped there. Put a light coating of grease onto the shaft again. Put our sleeve back on. Check our main gear now. We have a washer below. You want to check the teeth, make sure that they're all uniform and clean, and they are. Get a good amount of grease into the teeth. Now I'm using the Pen Precision Reel Grease. That's the blue grease here. For those that wonder, it's a Pen Precision Reel Grease. It's available online. If you want to buy it, you can buy it through mysticparts.com among other places, and they will ship that to you. Alright, we can substitute the pen washer. You can see it fits nicely into the cavity. We have a keyed washer, which is a round washer, that goes next. We'll put another one of those new ones in. It's optional on those. These are a Carbon Tex kind of a washer. It's optional on those whether you want to go ahead and put grease on them or not. I'm going to leave them as it is. Now this last one, you may have noticed these are just a little bit wider in diameter for that gear shaft. So the last one, these were in pretty good shape. So I'm just going to put one of the originals back on there just because it's going to hold tighter to the gear shaft there. Now we'll put the bell washer on. Now this bell washer has a raised section. The raised section comes out. All right. Now this is where those 2 washers belong that came out of the internal part of the assembly. So that's a good place to tell you to take the pictures along the way so that you don't get these confused. All right, put those on. And this little ferrule will go on next. So that's your drag stack that way, and I have no doubt that that will correct the issue that we had with that before. All right, again, clean off the yoke assembly here. Get the pinion gear in. We're going to load the pinion gear by putting that over the springs and pushing down. And we can grab our jack and load that in. So this is never an easy balancing act here. Unlike the the pen, it doesn't have a good hook up top to hold that in. That's okay. It just takes a little bit of patience. And as I've said on many occasions, half of fishing reel repair is patience and a sense of humor. So we do it again. Okay, once you have that balanced, now you can come back in with the assembly. And you want to lock in now. There's some studs to lock in on this. And now we can go put our bridge screws in. That was the ferrule that fell out there. And I like to go cross pattern, north, south, east, west kind of a pattern to get these screws set. And that will ensure that we have a nice balance on that, that assembly there. And the short one goes where the long ones can't. Alrighty. Give that a quick test here after we put that little piece on. Alright. Okay, looks like our spring became detached from that anti-reverse dog. No big deal. Just want to hook it in behind on the bridge assembly. Pull the dog up a little bit. Grab our pliers that we used to take it off. Hook that on, and now we should have a functioning side plate. And we put this back on. Now you'll see that we have the free play here that we didn't have before with that star adjuster. All right. I want to go ahead and put the lock back on now for the gear shaft before we go any further. So there's a little washer, and then there's that C-clip. Looked like hand strength took it out, so hand strength should be able to put it back in. And if you need an assist, go ahead and use the pliers to pull that in. There you go. All right, so now that can't come in and out, right? Let's go for our star adjuster. Now some of these reels you can't put some of the pieces on with that C-clip still on. The Ambassador comes to mind as one of those reels. All right, star adjuster is on. A little handle lug is coming next. And that's where this parts tray becomes very valuable. You can come in and you can look. And if there's pieces in there that are still there after you're done, well, in this case, I think it's not going to let me. We were just talking about this. That's not going to let me put the handle on with those two pieces there. Let's take them off again. Ambassadors are like that too. You Can't get that handle on if you have those pieces off. Alright, let's do that again. That time I was able to get it in with my hand strength. Put that nut on. Now I've left the rest of this reel off at the moment. We'll go put that back together. We'll also service the line guide mechanism. See if we can get this lined up. That lines up nicely. Find our tie down screw. So these are beautiful reels overall, very durable reels. If you have the 50H, you just saw the side plate for the 27H. There's very little difference in terms of how you take that apart and assemble. I have no doubt that we've got that part fixed. Let's go ahead. Plenty of grease on this one from Joe's earlier efforts. Go ahead and put this back on. Lock that in place. Make sure that your 3 side plate screws are aligned. Phillips head screws here. So if you have a reel like Joe's that needs to be repaired and you're not up for repairing it yourself, if you contact me on the business card that follows, I'll be happy to provide you with repair information. If you have a reel that you opened up and you ran into trouble with, well, don't be ashamed. I'll congratulate you for trying it. Just send me a note, and if I can put it back together for you, I will put it back together for you. If you're just looking for advice, leave that in the questions in the comments section, and I'll be happy to tell you what the next steps might be if I can. Or I can tell you if you give me a picture. If Joe had sent a picture on this one, I probably would have said, well, those tension springs belong on the other side of the reel. All right, I've just oiled up the worm, oiled up the pawl. Put it back together, we'll give it a final spin, and we'll give it back to Joe to go fishing. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like it. Again, if you like these kinds of things, please subscribe. And if you subscribe, hit that notification button. All right, we are overloaded here. Oh, that was tight. Okay, there you go. 27H Sealine, 30 years old, beautiful condition. Now with a functional drag. Newly replaced drags on the bottom end of it. And ready to go fishing again. So there it is. All right. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. I'm wishing all of you a great day. Please stay safe, stay vigilant with the pandemic. If you're involved in helping us fight the pandemic, thank you once again. And to everybody else, let's do our part to help combat this deadly disease. Have a great day.